I really hate, God, it boils my blood. If I go to a place and it's not planned, and then we can't get tickets to so and so, or we can't get reservations to so and so, and then all of a sudden we're eating at Applebee's, and I can't. Not, I'm like, we could have eaten at Applebee's at home. I don't even eat at Applebee's at home, and it just, what could have been, which is so seven, what could have been, like, makes me so sad. Like, we could have gone to this special museum and we couldn't because we didn't think ahead to get the tickets.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Camille, and this is Enneagram for the Culture, where two dope Black therapists discuss how therapy, Blackness, and the Enneagram come together. We back.
We back up in this book.
There's so many songs that are like, we're back. Like, we're back. Like, there's just so many that you could go with. All genres have a we're back kind of a song. Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what's playing in my head right now.
Okay, this is going to be the contrast. What's in your head?
My welcome back. Is that Mase?
Yes.
Bad
welcome
boy?
back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, mine. Get ready for it.
I'm ready.
Is Backstreet Boys. Oh my God, we're back again.
Of course. But yeah, here we are.
Here we are. So we'll jump right in with updates since we last recorded about what we've been into. And kind of we'll tie that into how the Enneagram has shown up for us.
Yeah, I love this. So I'll start. For me, since the last season, it's just been a season of leaning into not succeeding.
Okay.
Had some L's, learning to take some L's.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been hard, but it's been good. It's been a lot of practice, a lot of intentional work. The biggest L being my marriage.
Yeah.
It's over. It didn't survive.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't survive some betrayal and some deceit. I mean, the way it went down, it's been really, really, really tough. So this season for me, learning how to maneuver through that and be aware of just some of those beliefs and the messaging that can come up, especially for this type structure, being a 3. Mm-hmm. It's been hard. It's been really challenging, but like I said, a lot of work. Very thankful to my therapist, who's been a safe space for me really since the onset of this relationship. And my friends, Chi-Chi's group. So you guys, if you tuned in last season, Chi-Chi Agoram was a guest for our last episode, talking about her book and how she teaches about the Enneagram, especially when it comes to Black women and Black people. And so it was just clutch right around the time stuff started to really get tough for me. She announced her At Ease group. And so I signed up for that, and I've had that to help me really process a lot of like what I've been telling myself, what this means for me, and how that deceit, how that showed up. So it's been tough, y'all. It's been really, really tough, but with that, a lot of growth. So that's how it showed up for me.
Yeah. I've gotten to watch you kind of walk through some of this, and it's been an honor to watch your growth. And can you share what some of your like shifts have been in some of those beliefs that were bubbling up, and how those have shifted?
Yeah. So initially, it really felt like definitely a failure, but not so much in the context of the marriage failing. That was a part of it, but by the time I knew it was over, thankfully, I think I had done enough work to realize that I really had done all that I could do to make it work. Mm-hmm. So when I say failure, like what was especially hard was me questioning like myself, my discernment, my intuition. Like I said, it was pretty tough. So there were elements in the relationship that, as a therapist, I help people through. So like questioning if I'm really, how can I say I'm an expert on these things if I'm going through it, if I went through it, or if I'm in this position specifically. So really learning how to be aware of how slippery that slope can be, how easy, again, going back to deceit, like, so, and being a 3, that's like taking on all of this stuff that's not mine to take on. And so being able to like be aware of that and pay attention to that.
Yeah.
There've been so many gems from all of the work that I've been doing, but especially working with the At Ease group, and one of them being veracity for 3s. And that's the habit of habitually being honest with yourself and telling the truth about yourself, and being able to just recognize that that's in me. And so when I can realize and be aware of me slipping into, not being real with myself and being honest with myself, and at times shame being the vehicle for that, to remember that I have access to the ability and capacity to look for the truth, seek the truth, and really be honest with myself.
Yeah. I've seen you do that, and it's been such an honor to witness. And that's sort of the catch, is that sometimes we think that vulnerability or like letting our guard down is, well, it is a very scary thing, but if we feel like, oh my gosh, something bad's going to happen. And as someone that has been on the outside watching you, if anything, it has just been such a inspiring and cool and honoring thing to watch you be honest and to be truthful and to dig into untangling some of the lies that we've been told about marriage and success and all of those things, and to watch you sort of untangle that has been so empowering to watch. And sometimes I hate when people say that, because then it's like, well, I'm really glad that like my like heartache is like inspiring you, but it just overflows. It ripples into for others to see, or for others to call to action as well.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, like we can untangle some of these lies or these beliefs that aren't accurate.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's not a thank you for saying that. Thank you for your support and for being with me through so much of this. But no, that's not a reaction I have, because it is, you're right. It's that ripple effect that I've seen in other people that's helped, give me the courage and empower me to practice trying it on for myself.
Yeah. And it's almost like, even when you started sharing today and you said like there's been L's, I wanted to jump in and be like perceived L's, like because
this was an L, and so just to go back to like you and I have joked at times about I didn't die. But it can really like the reaction, like it can really feel like you're about to have to fight for like your life, like the going back to the body and how grateful we are for our bodies, but like even right now as I'm talking about it, like I'm sweating profusely, it's like I'm facing like this big huge thing that could potentially take me out, but it won't. It can just really feel like that, but it won't. At least it doesn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So
I've been proud of you. I have been proud of you. I've been just proud of you. Proud of the way that you've had to listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to your intuition, the way that you've had to be honest, the way that you've had to be revealing and transparent and share things that are hard to share. And even today, just being able to share that out of a place of veracity, out of a place of, I want to be truthful. And I don't want to hide behind some veil of perceived success, when really I hear your story and see that is the success of, like, man, you really listened to yourself and you really did something bold and courageous, and good on you. Good on you. And being able to allow yourself to feel all the emotions that are very normal and natural to go through when there's a loss.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So that's jumping right in.
Yeah, jumping right in. And it is so true. I know that feeling of being a therapist and the standard that we hold ourselves to, the false standard that we hold ourselves to on some of the things, and the shame that we sometimes feel around, oh God, I did that thing that I help other people not do. Or I have definitely felt that. And I've had to work through that with my therapist too, of like, what that feels like. But we're human. We're human, and the world is the world. And so we're not immune to that.
Nobody is. Nobody is. It's been cool to learn how to, what it looks like to lean into it. It's been beautiful, it's been kind of isolating at times, because, in the context of the work that you're doing with your clients, it's about your clients. But I've been able to experience and see how, in many ways, what I've been going through, like how it's made me a better therapist, especially for certain people in certain situations, because I'll be able to have my experience and allow that to lend empathy and understanding in ways that might have been really, really, really challenging prior to this. So
100%. Yeah, I think, yes, the compassion that it opens up for our clients, like for me as a counselor towards my clients, is amazing. And just the humanness of being able to sit with someone as two humans, as opposed to like expert and client. But to be like, no, we're both in this world together and we both experience it. And my humanness is what is going to connect with this client. Obviously, there's lots of, like, as counselors, we have to be aware of the safety around that and the appropriateness and the boundaries around that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what makes us good therapists is allowing our humanity into the room. And that's a felt sense, I think, by our clients. So
agree.
Yeah.
So Vanessa with what's the name of her? Vanessa Fernandez.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? She's also a 3. And I heard her say this one time, one of her favorite parts about being a 3 is our ability to take pretty much anything and turn it into fuel. And so with this, and even, with us doing this podcast, there's been so much that's been going on in the background for me personally, as we've been doing this. And so it's just going back to how it's shown up. I continue to appreciate that about my type, because I've definitely been working and in an intentional way. I've been spending a lot of time on the melanated Enneagram and those courses. I'm so excited about how that's all coming together, and looking forward to launching that. I was just talking to my best friend just about stuff. And she's like, girl, you have all types of certifications. It just seems like you're always working on. So I think I have probably cranked out a few more of those through this. So, I know that that's 3 stuff and having to be aware of it. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to what's next. I think that can also very much be a part of like my type. But it's also very true. It's been a long time coming. And so I'm excited about just what's next and moving forward.
The Beyonce Freedom song is playing in my head right now. So that's the soundtrack that's happening.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited for what's next for you. And also been just, proud of you being in the present and allowing the present to be and to experience the present while also looking forward to the future.
Thanks, girl.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
good job.
Your turn. All right. How about you?
Yeah. So I guess kind of piggyback a little bit about the looking forward to the future. I just feel like this has been for me since the last time we recorded. I've just felt a shift in the world a little bit. The world and me in terms of that. I feel like we're at a place where I can start planning again. So much of the annoying part of the pandemic was that like you couldn't plan in 2 weeks or in a month because you just didn't know who would be there, who's available, who's sick, or what the numbers are, or whatever. And so it was just everything was just so short term. Of like, we'll see what we're doing at Christmas. We'll see what we're doing this summer. Like, and now it sort of feels a little bit like, I can look ahead to the next couple of months and the next couple of moments. And I just love being able to plan ahead and to look forward. And to have things to really be excited for that are not just in the like, okay, next week, but the things that are like, in a couple of weeks. So whether that's personally, with travel and different events and just being excited about big things. And I feel like we always had to hold things so loosely, right? It was like, we planned to go to blah, 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 but like, who knows what's going to happen? Right. And to be able to really plan ahead, look forward to it personally, but then also professionally, like being able to be like, okay, here's where I want to go professionally. Here's the things I want to start offering. Here's what I want that to look like. I know. So it's been fun to get to look forward a little bit more. And I've just been loving that. I love it. I feel alive. I feel excited, and those are good feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have is there something that you have planned that you're like looking forward to the most at this point today?
Yeah. So personally, I'll do personally and professionally. Personally, I'm looking forward to some Europe travel. I have been missing Europe. I love Europe. And so, who doesn't? But I am excited to get back over there and to get to see something new and different culture and just be able to do that. And then professionally, what I'm looking forward to is, it's interesting. The last 2 years, I think for therapists have been a grind of just seeing clients, of just, that was it. It was seeing clients. I didn't, you did, but I didn't have a ton of capacity to do a lot of trainings, to read a lot of books, to really dig into what am I doing with my business. It was just sort of like the day in and day out of like, let me see these clients because we're in crisis. This is a huge traumatic 2-year crisis. And so now that things have sort of settled a little bit and people are feeling a little bit different, it's been nice to plan ahead for trainings that I'm really stoked about. And I started to do that last year too, but this year more. And then to really be reading more professionally, having the capacity to do that. And then just being able to plan like new offerings of wanting to do Enneagram consultations and wanting to do longer sessions and things like that are just, I can actually I actually have the physical space to do that because clients aren't as booked in. But then I also have the brain space to plan and play and create. So that's what I'm excited for.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you.
I know you've been so fun, like, especially the professional part, like me, like talking about it with you and knowing that you're just such an encourager of business growth and things like that. So, hey, so a part of our hope is to really connect with you guys. So we want to know what you're getting from this and what you want to learn more about on this podcast.
You can connect with Camille on Instagram at camille.logan.lcmhc.
And you can find Kim on Instagram at KReeseLCSW.
And you can follow us both on Instagram at Enneagram for the Culture. We've dropped the links in the show notes, so check those out too. And while you're there, go ahead and bless us with a rating and a review. Subscribe so you can be notified when our new episodes drop weekly, and share this with someone you know. We'll see you around.
I'm so excited for you. I'm really, really proud of you. I'm really looking forward to what's to come.
Yes.
And I'm thankful for your planning because I got to benefit from it since we recorded last, like personally, I got to benefit from it because we got to go somewhere together and you was planning and researching and it was just amazing.
Yes.
And I have to figure stuff out.
Yes. We, so last season, I said that at the end of the season that we needed to take a trip together, to celebrate, number one. And then I think you added in, and we can plan for season 2. So, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's great. So we went to DC and we met up since we both live in different cities. So we met up in DC and celebrated, the end of season 1, but then also planned season 2. And yes, I love planning a trip and, And so I got to, really like hammer some stuff out and put together a little itinerary. And
it was so nice. It was so nice. I just want you to hear, like, to be like on the receiving end of it, or to be a part of that, to not have to be doing the planning and not feel guilty for not have to, because you really love it. You really enjoy it. So, and it was great. Like, you did a really good job.
Yeah, I do love it. And I think that is some 7 stuff there for sure. But I always think that planning a trip is a thing that you could do probably all the way around the Enneagram of like, what's the motivation for this number for planning a trip? And for me as a 7, it's wanting to make the best of the time. It is wanting everybody to have a good time. I knew at that time when we went, I knew that you were stressed. There was a lot going on personally. And so I wanted this to be a fun, easy time for you. And so wanting to do that was sort of that motivation. And I really hate, God, it boils my blood if I go to a place and it's not planned and then we can't get tickets to so-and-so, or we can't get reservations to so-and-so. And then all of a sudden we're eating at Applebee's, and I can't. I'm like, we could have eaten at Applebee's at home. I don't even eat at Applebee's at home. And it just, what could have been, which is so 7, what could have been, like, makes me so sad. Like, we could have gone to this special museum and we couldn't because we didn't think ahead to get the tickets. But then I look at the people that can just go on vacation and just roll with it, and they end up getting to still go to the museum just because they just rolled with it. And I'm like, wow, that's a nice life.
Like that.
I could not, but I see for some it works out. And I'm like, dang, that would be nice. Just wake up and be like, we're just going to put on our shoes and see where we go. Let's see if we get into the museum. Here's me. That's like, we have a 10 o'clock appointment. I got these tickets 2 months ago and we need to be there at 9:30.
That's exactly what happened, but it wasn't, you weren't that. You didn't sound that stressed in the moment. And we were excited about it. Right. Well, this wasn't your first time going. So that's one of the things we did was we went to the African American History Museum in DC. And it was my first time. And so, yes, that can be that you're definitely taking a risk, right? If you try to just like walk up and don't have a plan for that museum. So thankful to you for making sure we did. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
I highly recommend that museum. Anybody that's listening, if you've not been to that museum, like put that on your, really very much should be on your list. It's an amazing museum. It's beautiful. It's literally a beautiful storytelling experience that is like almost like an immersion experience. It's really cool how it's done. And so so I think if you were just to show up at like 1:00 in the afternoon, you're not going to get the full experience because you're not going to be able to have time to go through the whole thing. And so if you do go, my little pro tip would be, it takes about a day to do. So like block out a day if you really want to jump into it. And that's what we did. So we really prioritized the museum as our big thing that we were going to do. And so we went.
Incredible. And we were there all day.
We really were.
We were like walked out and we were like, oh my gosh, the day is like the sunset. Like we've been here all day. It definitely didn't feel like it, but I think that it does. It just speaks to, you said immersion. That's exactly what was coming up for me. It's absolutely an immersive experience. So, incredible. And it sticks with you. It sticks with you in a way that, makes you continue to ponder. And, they say that about art, right? That art, good art is when it's something that sticks and reverberates in yourself. And I feel like that museum is very much like that. Like we talked about it afterwards, and it's stuff that we continue to think about. And it's actually part of what has inspired us for season 2 is that experience at the museum, to direct our focus for season 2. Yeah. So there was an exhibit that focused on this notion of a paradox. And that really resonated with both of us. The part of the exhibit was emphasizing how, like in this country, there's this whole paradox where we kind of have this obsession, I would say, with like liberty and freedom. But at the same time, that's not what if you look at it, it's not really what we're built on. And that's not really what's happening in so many ways. And so that's a very like macro level, right? But like you said, it reverberated with us. I mean, it was just so powerful. And I continue to think about it. But we decided that we could maybe like zoom in a little bit, right? And could absolutely see how this was the same notion is applicable when it comes to the Enneagram and people and our personalities, and how we can get tripped up. And so, that's been the inspiration for this season. We're excited to talk about how that applies, how there's a paradox and how there's a trick to each number, and exploring that in more depth.
Yeah. I'm also right now, as we're talking, I'm thinking about this, like an idea of like a veil, like there's a veil, and it's like, once you take that layer off or you take the veil off, what's underneath. And so, the way that in America, that veil of freedom and that veil of liberty. And then when we take it off, we see that there's so many groups of people that are not part of that freedom and liberty. And then again, on the personal level, that we have this veil of something in our personality with the Enneagram, and we take that off. Here's what's really underneath the surface. And so it also directed us back to our season 1 finale with Chi-Chi. And the question that she asked was, who would you be without the armor of your personality? And how that relates to Black people, and how the armor is really protective and needed. But that real question of like, well, who would I be without that armor? And I know that question definitely resonated with me after our conversation. I distinctly remember something a couple of weeks after we had that conversation. I was driving and that question was ringing in my mind after an experience. And so mixing those two things together of the paradox, the trick, and so then the trick and paradox of the armor, which is our personality. And so we want to dive into that.
Yeah. So this season, we're going to focus on really getting into what is kind of somewhat like advanced elements and nuances with this whole typing system. I like to use the analogy of a bar sometimes to help people kind of understand this. But if you think about how we all can have these experiences where we're really like resisting something. We really, really just don't want it to be this. We just really, really don't want this to happen. And so it's almost like, what I see is us just having this really, really, really tight grip on a something. And so being able to pay attention to what that something is for each type. And realizing that if you would like allow yourself to like learn how to loosen up that grip and release this thing that you're really, really afraid of happening or not wanting to happen, that on the other side of that, what you're afraid of, you learn that it's really not anything that you have to be fearful of. In fact, it's the total opposite. So we're going to explain that by talking about this whole notion of a higher self versus our personality. And then, so going back to this bar analogy, it's like when we're holding on to this bar, that's when we're really fixated, right? That's when we're really stuck in this like personality mode. And when you think about that, like we're really not thinking with our higher selves. We're not thinking, we're not operating from a wise place. Oftentimes we're like very, very reactive there. So this notion of like that being our lower selves. So the fixation shows up there. And then the passion shows up there. But when you learn how to loosen that grip and let yourself hit the ground, ironically, is when you can start to access your higher self. So this notion of the holy idea or virtue for each type. So like Camille said, to like be able to combine that with the paradox and some of the language we got from Chi-Chi and can continue to learn from her and her book about how this stuff can show up as armor. We want to be aware of that so that we can see where we have choices, see where we're just like really got this really, really tight grip on this thing. So for example, for threes, that grip being, I have to be successful. Like everybody has to see me as successful. You cannot be seen as this person who's not succeeding. You can learn to loosen up your grip on that and just hit the ground, right? And feel that you don't have to be succeeding. You could be totally like taking L's, right? And you still have so much worth and so much value. It's like, then that's when you're able to really tap into it and it's available to you because you're not holding on to that. You're not holding on to that bar anymore.
And hitting the ground opens you up to something more beautiful. And what's interesting about each number is each number has this beautiful vision and want for the world and themselves, but we can't get to it unless we loosen our grip on the bar. And that's the paradox, is that we're trying to get to this beautiful, it's called the holy idea. We're trying to get to this beautiful holy idea, but we hold on to this bar to try and get there. And ultimately that doesn't work. It only gets us, we only get there when we can loosen that grip. And so, the words that we're going to use a lot this season are these terms that other people have developed. These are not our terms. These are terms called the holy idea, the virtue, the fixation, and the passion. And so we're going to dive into that of how that comes into play with our personality and how we can use that as a roadmap and as a a call to action. And again, even as I say call to action, I hear I feel a paradox in that, because a lot of times it's more so a letting go. It's not necessarily like, this is what I need to do. That would be the fixation, but we're going to get into that. So one of the things that I really loved when I first learned about the Enneagram was, and I say that, and you said it earlier, that what's the trick of the number, that there's a trick, meaning that there's like a catch. And so exactly what Kim said when she used the example of success for threes, but that the thing that I'm aiming for, and the way that I do it, which is the way that my personality shows up, ends up keeping me from the thing that I'm aiming for. I see it really clearly in all the numbers, but another example is the 9, who really wants peace, has this beautiful vision for peace and harmony. And so what they might do is fall asleep to themselves. There might be some passiveness that happens. And then that creates not peace, because it might hurt other people's feelings, or it might cause some distance because they're not being honest. And then they're not getting the thing that they want. And internal conflict, right? Then they have internal conflict happening. And so they're going against the thing that they want by trying to do the thing that they think is trying to get them there.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to tap into, which, like Kim said, this is, you're not going to see a ton of this on Instagram, right. Because it is a little bit more nuanced, but we have faith that we're going to be able to walk through it. And we think that this is a really cool part of the Enneagram, because at the end of the day, the main thing we always want to remember is we don't want to go to sleep at night going, man, I am such a 7 and I was the most 7-like today. We really want to go to bed being like, yeah, I loosened the grip a little bit. I tapped into this part of myself, and I tapped into that part of myself. And yeah, my 7-ness was bubbling up when I was planning the trip. And oh my gosh, what would happen if we had a bad time? Right. That was like the 7-ness bubbling, but I had to be like, hey, it's okay if and there were times that we were like, you know what, let's go back to the room and just chill and rest. And we don't have to see everything. And we have to just be okay with the flow, and that there's beauty in that. And that and that was probably some of my favorite parts of the trip, was that there were times that we could just coexist, giving ourselves what we needed and not feeling like we had to see all the things in DC. And so, because if it was totally left up to me and I was to plan that trip completely 100% like a 7, we wouldn't have stopped.
And that's the thing. And that's what we're saying is when that veil is lifted, you did totally plan that trip like a 7, right? You were able to access, you loosened the grip, right? You were able to get to that thing that is so important to you, like you described earlier, like really making the most of the time. That wasn't about having a jam-packed schedule, right? That was about going with the flow, so we had these things that we knew we wanted to do that were important, but we were also able to really have some great like quality time and connect meaningfully. And so you did do it. Just like, going back to my example, like in some ways you could fall for this belief that doesn't look like a 3 who is embracing a loss or a failure or something that doesn't look like success. But actually that's exactly what it looks like to be a 3, that veil lifted.
That veracity.
Is somebody who, Exactly.
Yes. So that's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to walk through that for each number. We're going to, the same way we did in season 1, where each episode is going to be focused on a number, but specifically around this higher holy idea, virtue, passion, and fixation. And diving deep into that. And then sprinkled in between each of those episodes, this time we are also going to do mini episodes where we dive into an Enneagram concept. So whether that's subtypes, tri-types, the stances and triads, all these words that sometimes can get kind of confusing in the Enneagram, we're going to do a little mini episode on each of those. Just kind of a teaching. I think both of us love information and learning and the rabbit hole that the Enneagram can be. And so we kind of want to fall down that all together.
Nerd out.
We're gonna nerd
out. And back to really what our mission kind of is with this whole podcast. we're going to be talking about how all of this intersects with being Black.
Yes.
So we're thrilled. We have been planning, as you've heard. And I mean, this is the first episode of this season. So you're already getting a sense of, what we're prepared to bring, with what all we've experienced and all we've learned, both from the books and the podcast, et cetera, to just, life and growth and practicing some of what we're teaching and preaching. It's going to be a good season.
I'm excited about it. So hang in there with us. We're excited to be here with y'all. And thanks for listening and hanging in with us during the off season and all of that.
Absolutely. All right. That's a wrap, huh?
That's a wrap. That's it.
Okay. We'll see y'all in the next episode.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.